back, baby.
Offense, you know what to do.
It's football time in Tennessee.
Get me Tennessee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 1796 Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Norma Volfan, joined with my buddy Ryan, and we're going to be talking, a lot of sports today. I mean, Tennessee had a great week all around for sports. Basketball beat Auburn and Alabama. Baseball swept their opponents. I mean, what can you ask for? But yeah, let's hop into the Alabama game. I mean, this game was nuts. Honestly, it looked like an SEC championship type game, but yeah, Brian, what'd you think about it?
Yeah, the biggest thing to me about last night's game was that Tennessee played maybe a B- game and was able to beat Alabama on the road. It just gives me hope for the rest of the year. I mean, that's the bottom line, and I'm sure we'll get into breaking down the matchup. But the main overarching point for me is that we played not our best, and we were still able to pull out that win.
I mean, absolutely. I think you're being generous with the B-. I think,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've seen the video, but Rick Barnes in the locker room, I mean, he made a valid point. Imagine if this team is all clicking at once. I don't think anyone could beat us. I honestly don't. I mean, if Meshack plays like that every game, and you get a game where Dalton Knecht is playing his game, Vescovi's doing his thing, Triple J's doing his thing, Adu's doing Zakai, and you can name them all. I mean, who could beat us with the defense we have, the offensive power we have? I mean, it's tough, especially on neutral courts. I mean, March is coming, the SEC tournament's coming. Once you get on the neutral courts, I mean, Tennessee, I think, can easily beat anybody in the country, and there's not even a question about it. But I agree, man. I mean, Tennessee played a pretty, I would call it a pretty ugly game, but we were able to pull it out. And that's the point in this, is bringing up, does Tennessee deserve that number 1 seed now? I don't know about you, but I think we do. I think we do, as of right now. But
if the season ended right now, I don't see how you couldn't give Tennessee the last number 1 seed. But we still have 2 games remaining, and two more. I mean, huge games that will bolster your resume for a 1 seed. So, I mean, going to South Carolina, winning is going to be tough. Even beating Kentucky at home is going to be tough. But the 1 seed is we have our crosshairs on that firmly right now. But I want to hear from you, Jim, first, and I'll tell you who I thought was the player of the game for Tennessee. But I mean, the difference that Jemai Meshack made, mainly in the second half, I don't think can be understated. I mean, Alabama went through a stretch, and we were clawing our way back into the game where they were just missing 3 after 3 after 3, and Meshack was in Sears' jersey the entire time. And then Meshack had the biggest 15 seconds of the game when he hits that corner 3 and then steals the ball at half court, pushes it ahead to Ziegler. Ziegler gives it to Adu for a and 1 dunk. Meshack is my player of the game, hands down.
No, and I for sure will give it to him. But if you had to pick someone else, I mean, I'd say Zakai. I mean, the kid on the court makes this team the team I was just talking about. I mean, the kid is an awesome point guard. He may not have his shooting nights, but, man, he knows what to do with the ball. I'm always confident with him with the ball. At any point in the game, if he has the ball, I know 95, 98% of the time, no one's getting it from him. And, but yes, I agree. Meshack had one hell of a game. But also, I mean, shout out to Triple J. Triple J showed up. I mean, we had to play small for a while because both our bigs were in foul trouble. And dude got 13 rebounds, had 11 points. I mean, you can't ask for any more from a guy like that to come up in a big game like this. And like I said, all around, Meshack is definitely the player of the game. But I think Zakai and Triple J are another two to shout out because they played excellent. Same thing with Vescovy. Vescovy played really good too. So, hopefully this rolls into South Carolina. This is a revenge game, so we have a good resume with revenge games so far this season. And I understand it's on the road, but I think this team, man, they're finding it, and they're finding it at the right time.
Yeah, I really want to. You kind of touched on it there, Jim, but the performance from our two fifth-year seniors, I thought was their two best performances of the year. I know Josiah scored 26 points in Rupp Arena, but he didn't pull down 13 rebounds in that game. I mean, that's huge when you're playing a team that, jacks up threes all over the place, and there's a lot of long rebounds that most of the time turn into another three opportunity or a layup at the rim. So for Josiah, I think that's his best game. And Santiago Vescovy is drawing up plays in the huddle, even when he's not in the game. I mean, and he had 3 steals, 8 points, 2 assists. And if you turn on the tape and watch, we touched on it on our last episode, there's no way that you can say these two fifth-year seniors should not be playing. Their leadership was just exploding from both of them on Saturday night, and I couldn't be prouder of them.
Yeah, they're the reason we won this game. I mean,
I agree.
No question. Obviously, Meshack had that great play you were talking about, but overall, those two, won us the game. And I don't know. But you talking about the whole huddle thing? I would not be shocked to be seeing him in orange as a coach soon.
Dude, I would not mind that. Once he's done in Europe for the next 5 and 10 years, come home. I mean, I would welcome him back with open arms. I mean, I just that shows so much how he's all about the team when he's drawing up plays, not even for himself, and Rick Barnes is looking on like a proud father. I mean, it's something that makes you proud to be a Tennessee fan. And it's like you said, without their leadership, when we're down 7 for 3 or 4 minutes there in the middle of the second half, there's no way we make that come back and surge ahead in the last 4 minutes. So, again, if you just look at the box score, or really, if you just look at points and rebounds and their shooting percentage, you would think, oh, these players don't mean that much. But if you turn on the tape, they are of vital importance to this team's success. Simple as that.
I mean, what's the record now? I think it's 14-1, 15-1 when Triple J scores 8+ points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, he's a difference maker. I mean, he's, we've talked bad about him, because he was non-existent for a while. But all around, he is turning it around, man. And, when you hold a team like Alabama to less than 25% at 3, I mean, that's huge. They only hit 9 threes out of 37 attempts last night. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we shot 12 for 40 from 3 and still won is absolutely mind-blowing. Because if you think about it, let's just say we shot, if we hit 4 more or, maybe 4 or 5 more threes, this is a blowout. This is a blowout.
Exactly. I mean, how many times is Gainey going to throw up 6 threes and miss all of them? How many times is Knecht going to go 1 for 7 from 3? Not often. And Ziegler went 4 or 14 from 3. I mean, it's kind of funny to me that Ziegler has just a flashing green light. It's like a huge green light from 3 now. But he knocked down dagger threes when we needed them. So I'm totally fine with that.
Now, I do want to talk about Gainey. And you know what? He plays hard. He really does. But am I just spectating opinion? There's something in there. Like Rick Barnes loves Gainey. Loves him. And it seemed like last night it was like, yo, I think it's time to get him out of the game.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. So I'm kind of wondering what you think. Maybe, I don't know, but he has something for Gainey, and I just can't, see what it is.
For me, Gainey did have a few very good minutes in the middle of the first half where he was getting to the rim. It wasn't even with his 3-point shooting. He was driving to the basket and getting fouled or making the shot. So I will give kudos to Gainey there, but I think the reason that Barnes finally decided to set him down last night it's exactly what I said on Thursday night in our last episode, is that a bad Gainey shooting night does not overcome what Meshack can bring defensively, and especially when Meshack decides to hit 2 threes as well. So I think that it's as simple as that for Meshack versus Gainey last night. But as far as Gainey getting a lot of playing time every night, I think it's just because we've seen it from him this year. I mean, he has the ability to get hot, but it's just few and far between. So I think Rick Barnes just throws him out there to just put his finger on the pulse and see if he's hot or not.
That's a good point. But you got anything else regarding the Alabama game?
Yeah, the two big lineup, Adu and Awaka, was neutralized very early, not by Alabama, but by Pat Adams and his crew. But and you said it earlier, once they both get 2 fouls, what I think it was 6-7 minutes into the game, they already had 2 fouls apiece. Josiah did a very good job whenever the Vols decided to go small, and Estrella, he didn't record any stat besides the personal foul, but I think he, if you're going to have a body out there that's a big man, he played fine for the time he was in. But Josiah stepping up as a small ball center was very important in that first half. And I said it to y'all at halftime, considering that we just allowed them to go on a 12-0 run right before halftime, it made me feel good that we were only down 2, especially being on the road. So, and Walker only got 8 minutes last night total. And I think the game merited him not playing as much because Alabama has power forwards and centers that will shoot threes frequently. So I think that was the best game plan for last night.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. Now, talking about the refs, at some point, I mean, it felt like it was just a foul every possession. And it's got to be fixed. And it's not even just against Tennessee. I'm not blaming the refs for anything that happened or whatever, but it's just terrible, especially as a spectator, having to watch the whistle being blown every single possession. Mm-hmm. It's just terrible. It just ruins the game, ruins the flow of the game, because it gets people out of rhythm. I'll tell you that, but it needs to be fixed. You can't have games like that where you have almost 50 fouls. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Grant Nelson from Alabama fouled out with 12 minutes left in the game. That's insane. I mean,
he fouled out both games of ours this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever, good riddance, but it's not very often that you see players foul it out with 12 minutes left. I mean, that's kind of Nate Oates' fault too, but it's whatever. But I totally agree. I mean, if you look and see that the score is 81-74, I think a casual basketball fan who knows how well these teams can shoot at times would be like, wow, that's kind of low scoring for them. And it's because of how the game was called. But I did think last night for that game it benefited Tennessee because Tennessee is a versatile team. I mean, we've already talked about it. When both of your bigs have 2 fouls shortly into the game, we can go with a small ball center and Josiah Jordan-James and only be down 2 at halftime. When we want to start hitting threes in the second half, we can do that. When we want to shut down a hot shooting team like Alabama on the perimeter, we can do that. I mean, it just goes to show how versatile this team is, and it just bodes very well for March when you're going to be in probably 3 or 4 different types of games if you make it all the way to the Final Four.
And this is the team to do it. I've seen so many outlets talking about it that this team is it really is. This team is dangerous. If this team catches fire all at once, I mean, I'm trying not to sound super biased, but they're unstoppable. Just the fact that Dalton Knecht had 13 points in this game, mm-hmm. and we still come out with the win. I mean, it's huge. And I don't care about this slow game. Dalton Knecht to me, man, is SEC Player of the Year, hands down, and should be National Player of the Year. But I mean, we've discussed this already. But but yeah, you got anything else regarding this Bama game? We'll hop into some South Carolina talk.
Dalton Knecht, you just covered it. To anybody who says if Dalton Knecht has an off night, we're going to lose in the tournament, we've shown twice now on the road against probably the other two best teams in the SEC that we can win without him being hyper efficient from the floor and going for 25 plus points. So, I mean, I think that point is dead now. And to your point about the SEC Player of the Year, I'm very hopeful in the people who decide this thing that he locked that up on Wednesday night against Auburn. So, I mean, it just depends on how the last two games go. If he puts up another 5-14 shooting in the last two games, I still think he should get it. But he's not going to do that. So I think it's pretty safe for now that Knecht will be the Player of the Year. And that's all I have from last night, man.
All right. I mean, I agree with everything you said. And I feel bad for South Carolina now because the fact that Tennessee just had one of its worst shooting nights against one of the best offenses in the country. And now I'm not throwing any hate towards South Carolina. They already beat us in our arena. I mean, they obviously proven they could beat us. But let me say, Tennessee will not have that shooting performance they did last night. And I mean, Dalton Knecht only having 13, he's going to have to put at least 26 on the board to double that. And, but hey, South Carolina's got a good home crowd. It's going to be wild. It's going to be just like last night. I mean, if Tennessee takes this, I texted you earlier. I mean, you'd want to be at this Kentucky game Saturday. If they beat South Carolina, that's for the whole shebang in the SEC. They win that, they win. That's it. First place.
Yeah. I mean,
and they got to be thinking that. Teams got to be thinking that.
Sure, of course they are. I mean, winning the SEC regular season title, to me, and I think to a lot of people, is a lot more meaningful than the SEC tournament. I mean, don't get me wrong, the SEC tournament matters, but the SEC regular season title means you won a marathon, not a 5K in the SEC tournament. I mean, I think that really proves who the best team in the SEC is. Yeah, this game matters on Wednesday night at South Carolina, and you've already said it, the revenge factor is definitely going to be there.
Well, and here's the deal. I mean, teams do this, all the time. But South Carolina, man, they're thinking, oh, hey, we beat them already. We could do it again type mentality. Tennessee's coming in. They got nothing to lose. You got to go in, go take someone's head off. You got to go into this game aggressive and just start early. Take the crowd out of it. And, we have the veteran, we seen it yesterday. We talked about it already. I mean, we have those guys that have been here before and know what it takes. All we need is to hit our shots, half of our shots. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, when you go 12 for 40 and you still win the game by 7, that's insane.
That's a very good sign. To me, the key to the game on Wednesday is getting defensive rebounds, because that is what completely screwed us a month ago at home against South Carolina. And also, like you just said, the horrendous shooting we displayed in that game. So, I mean, it's like you said, when you come off a game where you shoot 30% from 3 and still win by 7 on the road, you'd expect a bounce back performance shooting as a team. So, and by the way, I forget his name. You might have to remind me, Jim, but the freshman big man that South Carolina has, I always forget his name. I'll have to look up their roster, but he, to me, is going to be a star in the SEC. I mean, he's great, and he killed us in Knoxville too, grabbing offensive rebounds and either putting them back up himself or passing it out for a 3. So to me, that's the key is the offensive rebounding, preventing them from offensive rebounding. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes our bigs to have a decent game. You cannot get into foul trouble. But the thing what I took away from the game, last time was South Carolina likes to slow down the pace.
mm-hmm.
They do not want Tennessee out and running because that's where Tennessee thrives. I mean, every time they would get a rebound, they wouldn't, rush down the court and do anything. They would just take their time, slow the game down, keep the scoring low, because you cannot. Here's my thing. I just don't see South Carolina. Okay. I just don't see them. I'm trying to look how much. Yeah, bro, they scored 63 points on us and beat us at home.
Yep.
Here's my thing. They cannot let Tennessee score over 70 because that's it. That's it. If Tennessee scores 70 plus, mark my words, we win the game.
I really do believe it's that simple, Jim. I mean, they want to go under 5 seconds till they even think about shooting a shot on offense, unless they are losing the game. If they have a lead, that's what they're going to do to us. They're going to try to grind us up. And another big key for me is that Michi Johnson for them is just coming off a 25-point performance against Florida. He went, thermonuclear in the last 5 minutes of that game. By the way, thanks, Florida, for blowing these games against teams that we're trying to
I know, bro, because if Florida would have won, I mean, that's it. I mean, all we'd have to do is beat them.
Yeah, if Florida would have won, we secured a share yesterday. But now we have to beat South Carolina to secure a share.
So how does that even work? Go with your point. We'll talk about it after.
Okay. But, Florida is losing to Alabama last week and now South Carolina this week. So, to hell with them. But Michi Johnson played his ass off in the last 5 minutes. And I think this is another game where Meshack needs to be in the game for at least 20 minutes, like he was last night. Because when they have a guard, when a team has a guard that good, that can get that hot, like Alabama had and Mark Sears.
Got to be in his face all game.
And Meshack's got to do it. Exactly right.
I mean, he proved it. He proved it last night.
Absolutely.
But I agree. I mean, it's just that simple because that's exactly what they did. It was pissing me off a lot when they came to Knoxville. I could see it as a spectator is that they would not, like, the tempo was super slow and they were trying to keep the ball out of Tennessee's hands, and we were not shooting good that night. And that's all it takes. Slow the game down, keep it at your pace, and that's exactly what they did. And I know we've just seen it against Auburn and Alabama. Rick Barnes knows what he's doing. They got a game plan, and they just need to go execute it.
I mean, simple as that. And if there's any coach that I trust in college basketball to, tailor a game plan for a super important game, it's Rick Barnes. I know that may sound crazy considering he hasn't done that well in the tournament throughout his career, but I want to hop into this real quick here. Anybody who thinks Rick Barnes, anybody who gets down on him, the basketball program has never been this good. We have 5 23-win seasons under Rick Barnes, and from 1907 to 1915, we had 5 23-win seasons in basketball. Like, the numbers speak for themselves. But besides that, the game plan will be there. You're absolutely right, Jim. And I really do believe the Vols are going to go in there and I think leave no doubt who is the champion of the SEC this year.
Here's my thing is I feel like if Tennessee goes and has a statement game, coming Wednesday, I think they leave no doubt, and I think that secures them a 1 seed. The thing about Kentucky is they're hit or miss, really, but I mean, we're gonna be home. We'll talk about this, when the time comes, but I think Tennessee, if they have a good statement game here, go on the road and beat South Carolina, it's hard to say that they're not a number 1 seed. I mean, it'd be almost robbery at that point.
Yep. I mean, I don't understand how if a team goes 3-1 against 4 ranked teams at the end of their conference schedule, where everybody's legs are tired, where 2 of these games are on the road, where all these teams that we're playing are fighting for a spot in the for the 4 double byes in the conference tournament. All these teams, at least when this 4-game stretch started, still had a chance to win the SEC. Like, nobody is tanking these games and giving Tennessee a win. So, I just would not understand. And, I've seen some people talk about that maybe a 1 seed out west isn't as good as a 2 seed in Charlotte, which I kind of get that. But if you look at who's won the national championship since the tournament expanded to 64, now 68 teams, 25 of the times it's been a 1 seed. And the next closest with the 2 seed is 6 times. So that's why you want a 1 seed.
Yeah, I'm looking at South Carolina's schedule. And South Carolina, am I tripping? But they've only scored over 80 points twice.
That is disgusting.
I might be losing my mind because they scored 94 against Florida A&M, and then they scored 82 against Florida, and that's it.
Let's see.
The rest have been 70s and 60s games.
Let's just look at conference play because the non-conference. Who gives a damn? They scored 79 against Kentucky. Yeah, the most they've scored was on Saturday in conference play. You were absolutely right.
That's what I'm telling you is Tennessee, as long as Tennessee comes hitting most of their shots more than they did last night, there's no way. If they just need to play defense. And it should be here's my thing. I would love for Tennessee to go to South Carolina and win by 20.
That would warm my heart tremendously. My heart would grow 10 sizes bigger, like the Grinch. And I already predicted this on Thursday. Now that we're previewing South Carolina, I'll go and say it again. Josiah Jordan James is going to go for 20-plus points. It's a homecoming. It's his last time playing as of all in South Carolina. He's going for points. Book it right now.
I mean, I love it. You don't got to tell, I think you're absolutely right. I think there's going to be multiple guys, though, because with the season coming to an end, it's their last stuff, hoorah, as you would say.
Mm-hmm.
And like a guy like DK, a guy like Triple J. I think Zakai's going to be a facilitator. I think you might see a really good game by Vescovi. And like I said, I don't want to hate on South Carolina because they beat us already. But I don't know why I'm so confident with this game.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about you asked me about the SEC clinching scenarios earlier for the regular season. I have them now in front of me if you want me to go over them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I know if we win Wednesday, we have a share, but a share with who?
So if we number one, if we win these last 2 games,
we win it outright.
Exactly. Now, if we win Wednesday, but then lose to Kentucky, that would leave the door open for Alabama to secure a share if they beat both Florida and Arkansas.
I don't see. Honestly, they play at Florida, don't they?
Yep, that's what I was just about to say. I do not see them winning at Florida.
Now, if Bama loses and we win Wednesday, then it's over, ain't it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about it earlier today. I think Florida's going to beat Alabama. They've been playing really, really well, and Florida at home, man, that's a rough atmosphere, and they're going to want to beat Alabama. So,
And another scenario, say we, God forbid, lose to South Carolina, we can still clinch a share if we beat Kentucky. But the kicker with that one is we lose to South Carolina, beat Kentucky. South Carolina with a loss at Mississippi State would now give Tennessee the single spot as the champion there. But Alabama,
that's a tough game.
But again, Alabama could do the same thing and tie us, just like the first scenario. Now, if you lose both, you're going to need South Carolina to drop one of their last two. If you lose South Carolina, they're going to need to lose to Mississippi State. If you lose to Kentucky, you're going to need Alabama to split, which would be a three-way tie between South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, which I want no business. I mean, if it comes down to it, we can get at least a share. I'll take it. I want no business of sharing this shit with South Carolina. No business.
Yeah,
because we are better than them, and it's not even funny how much better we are than them.
dude, I've been saying it for so long, and kudos to them for having this season. But to me, it's just fraudulent, bro. I don't know what it is. I think they're frauds, bro. I mean, like I said, we just looked at the scores, man. They just play a super slow tempo. They control the game. And Tennessee just needs to not let them do that.
I mean, I've said it to you. I've said it to Bryce on this podcast. South Carolina plays how Rick Barnes was forced to play to win games when he first got to Tennessee. Stick the game in the mud, play defense, limit possessions, don't turn the ball over. And that's what they do. But when you look at a team like Tennessee is now, once Rick Barnes has secured the talent he has, once he has the veterans he has, no sane coach would still choose to play the stick it in the mud style that Lamont Paris and the South Carolina Gamecocks choose to play. But he's in the position Rick Barnes was when he first got to Tennessee. It's the same thing with Lamont Paris, South Carolina. He's just doing whatever is going to help him win them right now, but that does not mean it's not abhorrent to watch.
Yeah, like I said, I'm super confident about this game. Like, I think DK is going to be normal DK. Triple J, like you said, is going to be, he's in his house pretty much. And, family's going to be there. And I think Tennessee has a good shot on this. I think Tennessee is going to, like I said, that we have all the benefits right now. I mean, we have the revenge factor. We have the title on the line. You have Triple J going to his hometown. You have all these guys coming off slow games. I mean, and a great win too. I mean, how, as a basketball player, how can you not be hyped up for this game? Like, Tennessee is more than South Carolina is. I'll tell you that right now.
Listen, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, Tennessee is more hyped than South Carolina coming off a win in Alabama. So
I could not agree more. Tennessee has their eyes set on a title on Wednesday night. That should be enough. But then you factor in that this is the one team that has beaten you at home this season. That should keep them up at night. Like, that should never have happened. And I said we played a B- game last night. We played an F- game against South Carolina. Like, they're going to want to prove that is not who we are. That is not what's going to happen when the title is on the line.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm. You know what? Let me look up this. The fact that, and I think, isn't Tennessee shooting like 38% from three on the season?
Something like that. It's just pretty damn good.
We shot 5 for 21, shooting 23% against South Carolina. Okay.
And how many free throws did we miss?
We missed 8 free throws, 12 for 20, shooting 60%. You hit 5 more of those free throws, you win the game. We shot 21 for 58 from the field. We actually shot better than they did. But they hit their free throws, and they shot 35% from three. It ain't going to happen twice. Like you said, Tennessee is pissed off. They want to win this game. Go in there and cut that damn chicken's head off.
What's his name? Cocky,
schmucky. I don't give a shit.
Oh God, yeah.
If I was a player, I'm finding the real chicken in the stadium, and when we win, you go grab it by the throat.
Yeah, when we win, drop kick that damn bird into the crowd.
Simple. Yeah, Tennessee's proven that they are the best team in college basketball right now. UConn is a very close second.
It's not a stretch to say that. I mean, we've won 6 games in a row in the toughest conference. Simple. Do you want to go ahead and get into a prediction for Wednesday night, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, I don't see Tennessee doing the same thing they did at home against South Carolina. I don't see Rick Barnes letting this team let the Gamecocks just control the game like they did at home. And like we've already stated that the players are going to be super, super into this game. But yeah, I think Tennessee wins this game. I think Tennessee is going to score 85 points, and I see South Carolina getting to the high 60s.
Gotcha. I'm right along in there with you. I'm going with the Vols getting to the 90-point mark. I'm going to go with 92. I'm going to go with South Carolina 65. I really think I think we're going to kick the fuck out of them.
Hey, I've said it multiple times. I'm so confident about this game. And like I said, I think Tennessee is getting red hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking just shooting. I'm talking about their attitude, their whole demeanor as a team. I just feel like they're going to kick this team's ass. And here's my thing about Tennessee. And a lot of people are like, oh, how are you not saying UConn's the best team in college basketball? Bro, they just beat Seton Hall by 30. Seton Hall's garbage. Seton Hall is garbage. Here's my thing. Purdue, UConn, Houston, for the most part, they play dog shit teams. All year.
That's a fact. That's an undisputable fact.
It's the same thing as football now and basketball in the SEC. We have to play Bama, Auburn, even like a South Carolina this year, Kentucky, Ole Miss. You got all these teams that are really good basketball teams that we have to play all year. And Kansas has to play like 2 good teams in their conference. Purdue has to play 0 good teams in their conference.
Kansas is like, 9-7 in conference?
Yeah, they're having a rough time. But again, you can't sleep on Kansas. Dickinson's probably is top 3 big men in the country. And, but anyways, we're not talking about them. No one gives a shit about them. But yeah, Tennessee, man, just go do it. You have the team. You have everything. Go win an Addy. They can do it. Everyone's starting to believe so. And the players at most believe so. So go kick South Carolina's ass. And then go home, beat Kentucky's ass. And that's it. That's all we ask.
Yep. I think it's time on Wednesday night to hang our first banner of the year of 3. That's how I'm going to end the basketball talk on my end.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting hyped up. But yeah, so let's talk about baseball, man. Baseball, woo-hoo. This lineup, boy, is dangerous. The fact that, we run ruled Bowling Green every single game this week. Literally every game we run ruled them. And even today, we had them run ruled. They scored a couple runs in the 7th. And then in the 8th inning, when our whole bench was playing, we put up 5 runs in the game. The fact that our bench is coming off and just smoking the ball is huge. I'm telling you, the only thing this team needs to figure out is the pitching. Because right now, the pitching is iffy other than Drew Beam. Drew Beam did stellar on Saturday. Yep. But, When AJ Russell comes back, Friday and Saturday to me are great. You'll probably get 5-6 good innings from them every single time they come out. But you got to figure out the Sunday thing. You can't be pitching 8 pitchers on a Sunday. It's not going to work, especially once we get the conference play. But
we have 2 more weeks to figure out our third starter, and I'm really thinking at least to start with the series at Alabama, it's probably going to be Sechrist to start conference.
See, dude, I'm a Nate Snead guy. I think Snead's got it.
Snead's got the velocity. He's got the arm slot. He is a lefty, right?
No, Nate Snead's a righty.
Okay. Nate Snead just seems
Sechrist is the lefty.
Okay, Nate Snead seems like a lefty name. I'm sorry, but
he's the one that throws 101.
Yeah, the thing is, and it's perfect example right there. There's tons of good options to vie for that third starting spot, but like I said, I really think Sechrist is going to be the guy. But I could definitely see Nate Snead taking it over, and these litany of pitchers we just throw out there to see what they've got. And we're going to see more of that the next 2 weeks until we play our first series down in Tuscaloosa. So it'll be interesting to see how that third starter spot shakes out.
Absolutely. But, Billy Amick is an absolute cheat code. Blake Burke is getting hot. I don't know if you've seen the moonshot he hit. Like Blake that, Burke's I honestly don't think it landed yet.
He's getting hot. Peebles is getting hot. The
Villeneuve, Tears. Christian Moore's doing his thing.
Dreiling had a good weekend.
Dreiling, did you see his home run today?
Hit off the top of the damn scoreboard.
Oh my God! I saw that thing take off the barrel. I was like, later, because they were like, "Oh, he hits a hard hit to right field." I was like, "That's gone." I don't even know what you. I was like, "I don't know." I'm watching on TV and I knew it was gone.
Yeah, and you just mentioned Blake Burke. When he makes contact, that bat sounds like a shotgun. It is ridiculous how hard he hits the ball when he really connects with it. And I love seeing him hit the ball the other way in this last series. He hit an opposite field shot. He hit a gap in the left in between left fielder and center fielder. He hit a line drive out to the shortstop, but just go left, man. If you hit it as hard as you do, you don't have to pull everything.
Well, here's the thing about him hitting it all over. Teams are starting to respect him. Mm-hmm. Last year everyone was playing him in a shift. This year they're not. And he's been at the plate. He's been absolutely stellar. He's not chasing pitches away anymore. He's having great at bats. He had one game where he had 3 walks. He's excellent at the plate. And we all know he hits bombs, but if he could consistently just have good at bats, get singles, you don't have to hit home runs. Just get on base. You have with him. I think the lineup's perfect where it is right now. I think Tony Vitello figured out his lineup because the fact that you go Simo, Blake Burke, Billy Amick, Tears, and Peebles, that's scary. That is a scary, scary lineup. And then you have most likely be Villeneuve after him. It's a scary, scary lineup all the way to 9. Dean Curley is having a year for a freshman. If they could, this team's figure out the pitching, this team's going to be a problem.
Yeah, those first 5 spots in the lineup, I don't think they're changing at all through conference play. I think any tinkering will be done 6 through 9. And, 6 through 9 for college baseball is very important because that's normally where you stash your more defensive players. That's normally where you stash players who hit like 120 to 180 if you're an average. And most of the good teams, that's still what they do. So a lot of pitchers are just going through the motions when they see 7, 8, and 9. But if we put the right players back there, that could be a problem for the opposing pitcher.
No, I absolutely agree. This team's got everything. It's just, just got to figure out that pitching. And I believe in Tony and Frank. I mean, they're going to figure it out. But,
No doubt.
it's just, even the bullpen, a lot of guys coming in, not throwing strikes. Just, you got the defense around you, man. Let them hit the ball. Throw, it's better to do that than just give them free passes. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah. Finishing it out, though, I kind of wanted to talk about Joe Milton. Joe Milton had a day at the Combine.
Everybody knows the potential has always been there, man. I wish him the best. I hope he goes and wins 6 Super Bowls. But, 6 years of coaching, nobody could tap into that yet. But I think an NFL coach, the right coach, could tap into what he's got, the potential he does have.
We know he has got a cannon. I think in an NFL system, I think it's hard not to say he's going to do good. He just got to get on the right team. You can't. Honestly, I can't remember who I chose, but here's my thing about him. He just needs to go. What would be a really good spot for Joe Milton? A team that doesn't really need a quarterback right now, but somewhere where he could learn from one of the best. Can you guess who I'm talking about?
One of the best.
They're in the AFC.
One of the best quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Kansas City?
No. I think the New York Jets should snag Joe Milton. Getting to have a season under Aaron Rodgers, or maybe 2 seasons. Who knows how long Aaron will go?
Yeah.
But I think you give him, someone to go develop under that's been there, that's had the adversity, that can. I think Joe Milton, man, is going to be a steal in the draft for somebody.
Yeah. It's like you said, I think there's like 10 to 12 teams that if Milton goes to, I think could tap into what he's got. I certainly think if you put him with Aaron Rodgers, I don't think there's many quarterbacks with with the potential that he has that wouldn't blossom into a good NFL quarterback. It's just yet to be seen, man. It's just so hard to not think he's going to finally put it all together if he gets with the right team. So I'm certainly looking forward to how that plays out.
Same thing with Jalen Wright. He had a good day. I think Jalen Wright's going to be one of the top running backs in the draft.
Now, you want to talk about a steal?
That's good. Yeah.
He's rated behind Cody Schrader and Ray Davis right now.
Now, nothing against Cody Schrader. He had an awesome year.
I know.
But Jalen Wright, a lot of people are sleeping on him. And I think the draft combine boosted his stock.
Sure, yeah. It's like you said, I can see Cody Schrader. He certainly busted our ass. But I don't see Ray Davis as better than Jalen Wright. I just don't understand how anybody sees that, really. But for right now, I think he's projected 3rd, 4th round, if I'm not mistaken. That would be an absolute heist for whoever drafts him. Because I think he has the ability to be a top-tier running back. Maybe even to Alvin Kamara's level.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And there's a couple teams I know that might, go snag him. And I think the Titans might be one of them. The fact that you're getting rid of Derrick Henry. And, Spears is excellent, but, it's nice to have that 1-2 punch. And I think those two would be electric together.
Yeah, that as a Titans fan, I would sign up for that every day of the week.
It won't happen, but and I'm not even, I won't say I'm not a Titans fan because they're obviously in the AFC and I cheer for them on the AFC side. Being a Giants fan, oh my God, I would love Jalen Wright. I mean, it's not going to happen, but I would love Joe Milton and Jalen Wright to come to my New York Giants. But I think the Giants are going to end up trading up and getting Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I think they're done with Daniel Jones. So, but anyway, we're not going to talk about the Giants. But yeah, you got anything else you want to talk about today?
Lady Vols, for whatever reason, for everybody's information, they played South Carolina again today. Only lost by 8 points. Played a lot better in the fourth quarter than they did against them in Knoxville. But, it still wasn't enough. The thing that I was disappointed in that I've heard in the post-game pressers from the team and from Kelly Harper was that they said they finally reached the level of toughness they wanted to play in. To me, I'm like, you're talking about you wanted to play that tough and still lose by 8 points. So that's the only problem I had with them today. But they're going to make tournament at this point. I think they're
at a 9 seed right now.
Yeah, we'll just see, man. I think everybody knows on how this podcast feels about Kelly Harper, but it doesn't mean we want them to lose. So,
yeah, the thing about I'm so done with her, dude, and I'm just a big Molly Miller fan. I might even get season tickets if Molly Miller becomes a coach. But hey, dude, I was talking about it with someone about baseball season tickets. They're kind of worthless if you have teams like this. Why would I travel to Knoxville to go watch a 7-inning game? It's been run rule after run rule.
Yeah, you're really going for those 5 home SEC series if you buy season tickets. So,
Do want to give a quick shout out to Lady Vols softball. We don't forget about you. They are 12-4. They are playing, really good softball right now. We don't forget about you. I think this team's gonna, make a trip to the championship this year. I mean, they got all the talent in the world to do it. Same thing with the basketball team. So this could be a really, really good year for Tennessee athletics.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah. But is that it for you?
That's it for me, man. You got anything?
No. Like I said, next pod we'll probably be talking about some Tennessee recruiting. June looks like it's going to be a packed house full of really good athletes coming in for football. So we'll talk about that. Next pod.
You know what else we're going to be doing on the next pod?
Celebrating a nice big orange victory.
Not only a big orange victory, but a big orange championship.
Well, hopefully it all, but it could be. It could be because Alabama plays Florida on Wednesday.
Yes. I mean, if we hang a banner if we win on Wednesday.
And Alabama loses.
Well, even if they lose, we clinch a share on Wednesday if we win. So
Yep. But anyways, again, we all appreciate you listening. If you're still listening to us at this point, we appreciate you listening, and let's go whoop some Gamecock ass on Wednesday. Go Vols, baby.
Mm-hmm. Go Vols.